Hey guys, welcome to Boone Down South. Today we're going to be talking about setting up a mock scrape. But this isn't like your typical mock scrape that you read about in magazines talk about. Been following Jeff Sturgis on Whitetail Habitat Solutions, and he's got a method of setting up a mock scrape where he sets it up early in the year and the deer seem to use it year round, he says. And so I'm going to try that here in South Carolina and see what it looks like. So we're going to do that today. So hit that like and subscribe and stay tuned. All right, the concept, you really need to check out Jeff's channel. The guy's got a wealth of knowledge on hunting whitetail deer and setting up land for whitetail deer and so forth. But this mock scrape idea is basically you're gonna hang a vine at a certain height, certain size vine. You're gonna hang it early. He recommends hanging it in July. It's like August 2nd now, but between work and weather, just haven't been able to do it. So we're gonna hang a vine, set up a mock scrape, and his expectations, what he says on his videos, he's gonna see deer using it in like 2 days. So we're gonna check it out and see if that works. But the concept behind it is if you go ahead and create it early, the deer start using it. They like the vine hanging there, and they'll come and they'll start using it, does, bucks, even fawns. And by the time deer season gets here, the concept is you have so much glands or scents from the deer rubbing their noses on it and their head on it that it's built up just a ton of deer smells. And so it just becomes a natural stopping point. It's a way to channel bucks on your property. Not necessarily going to attract bucks from different areas, but the bucks that are on your property might change their patterns, if you will. So we're gonna try that, show what it looks like and see what happens. And we're gonna set up some cameras on here and just kind of chronicle how this works. All right, here's where I hunt. It's hanging about waist height there. I'm gonna scrape the ground underneath it, and we're gonna camera set up on it and see how this works. I'm gonna work on setting up my climber or my lock-on tree stand right here behind it. I like to use it hanging in this double notch right here. So I'm gonna put my steps up and get my stand set, make sure I got a shooting range or shooting lane down to this. The bucks tend to come through this part anyway. They usually scrape under this tree here, but I've had to cut a bunch of these lower limbs out when I normally scrape right here. So it's not gonna interfere with this. I've hunted here a lot and I've seen some bucks come through here, but they generally don't do it a lot in the daytime. Once or twice a year, I might spot one in this area in the daytime. So, I'm gonna see if this just changes the patterns and see if I see a little more activity here. So I basically scraped out about a 4-foot section here on the ground, and gonna let it go from there. I'm gonna hang camera and see what it does. All right, got my lock on set. Got a couple deer out of the spot. No bush or anything, a few does. But right down there is where I did the mock scrape. And trying to see if I can make out where the tip of the vine is there, but I can't make it out from here. But if I pan over here, down there's my water hole that I put in. So that's kind of what we're shooting for. So I'm trying two of Jeff Sturgis' tactics from Whitetail Habitat Solutions. I'm not affiliated with him in any way. I'm just watching his channel, and he's got a lot of good info, so I'm gonna try it out. So this is what she looks like. Got cameras set up on both the water hole and on the scrape here, so we'll be documenting what they do here. So hang in there, let's see what happens. Well, there's the first armadillo I've ever seen on my property, so they're definitely moving up this way. Seen them out on the road before, but anyway, I didn't see deer hitting this like within 2 days like Jeff had talked about, but I will say a friend of mine about 2-3 miles as the bird flies from me, he went ahead and did one of this after I got a picture of a buck on here. He hung it up, and he did have some deer hitting his within 2 days of him hanging his vine up. But you kind of see this. These are pictures throughout the season until about the beginning of December. And then my camera batteries ran out, and I never went back and replaced them. Figured I had enough shots to tell me what I needed to know anyway, as far as utilization of this vine. I think the idea is, you do a mock scrape, or really a scrape is typically over an overhanging branch, right? But a lot of times that branch gets broke off, right? So, and I've had some certain places on my property where they would scrape every year, and pretty much religiously they would be there. And if I put a camera up, I would get similar pictures to what I'm seeing with this vine. Now, I did have a couple daylight opportunities on that big guy, as you can see through these pictures. So if I was just hunting more in the morning on this thing, and I think that's the key from what I'm seeing here. Look at these pictures, both that water hole which is just about 20 yards from this spot right here. In the other video, I'll put a link to if you haven't seen that. The water hole and the vine here, I really think if I spent more time hunting mornings, I would have had a much better chance of taking one of the bigger bucks on the property. So I did shoot a buck from this tree stand overlooking the spot, and when I killed it, it was an 8-point that I killed, and he was actually coming into this, and they created another scrape 10 yards beyond this from the tree stand, and I actually shot that guy after he got done freshening up the scrape there. So you can check that video out. But yeah, I mean, I think this is an effective strategy. I think it does maybe tip the odds a little bit more in your favor of seeing a big guy, in the daylight hours, but you have to be careful as far as how you enter your stand. Obviously, the way the wind's blowing, and not spooking deer out when you're coming in and getting in there early enough. In this case, you see a lot of times you see deer right there before daylight. So getting in early enough for those morning hunts, I think is key. But I think it does up the odds from what I've seen here. So I'm probably going to put 1 or 2 more of these hanging vines up for next year, and I'll get those done earlier in the year. But I'm thinking both for the waterhole and for this hanging vine mock scrape. I think really the second year is probably going to be better than the first, just because it had more time to sit there, more time for the deer to learn where things are at, and just more deer leaving scent on this vine year round. Now, one thing that was evident to me after looking at these pictures is how early some of these bucks were hitting that vine in September. We saw a number of shots in September. I could have been hunting. It's just so warm, and I typically wait for those colder days. This year was not a great year for having cold days, though. But, next year I ought to maybe get out there earlier in September and hunt on this vine in the morning. And looks like that might up my odds as well on scoring early. And just to point out, all the pictures I've included here, these are just a sampling of what we've took up through the first part of December. It's by no means all the pictures we've had. There's a lot more pictures where I've got a lot more deer pictures than what I'm showing here. Let's just put it that way. There's quite a few of them. But I just kind of put in some of the better quality pictures to kind of give a sampling of what's there. That's my thoughts on it. So, like I said, check out Jeff's info, and he's got a lot more wealth of information. I just really want to try it out here in South Carolina and see if it would be effective here. So overall, I think it was. So thanks for watching, and take care.